Good afternoon, everyone. How are you doing? My name is Luke, and this channel was originally started to talk about comic books, and I probably will still do that. But something has came to my attention in the past few days, and that is, I have a great voice, and I also have an area of expertise that I didn't realise that I had, which is actually my history with mental health. And I feel that actually I can do some good, maybe talking about what I've been through, where I've been, and how I've managed to cope and get here. My last video gave you a brief overview. Today's topic is going to be about medication, and what you can expect from being medicated for the first time. So, to give you a brief history, I had a long and difficult attempt to get onto medication. It was not an easy path for me to take. Like a lot of you, I assume, I was very scared that medication would change me. It would make me different. And when I started, I didn't want that. You always think you know best. You always think that no one else understands it like you do. And the idea of change to someone who's already anxious is a horrible idea, You're already in a bad position. You wouldn't be going for medication to try and stop that bad position. And then you're told by the doctor that in order to get better, you have to change. So that's literally putting another pile on there. And I can tell you that you do change. Stuff does change, and it is scary. If you're not prepared, it is terrifying to you, and I can't emphasize, it can be scary, and that is normal. But what you also need to understand is that it's okay to be scared. You're not in a good place, and it's okay to be scared that these people are telling you to take these pills to change your perception on the world, and that can scare you because you're already vulnerable and you're worried that something may go wrong. What if I'm given the wrong drugs? What if something goes terrible? What if this makes things worse? That's your big worry when you're on them, is you're worried, what if this medication makes things worse? Or what if I feel nothing? So for starters, you are going to be scared, and I can tell you now, don't worry. It does get better when you take medication. I have found, at least. What doesn't get better is if you take the wrong medication. Now, personally, I have been on probably about 6 different types. I've been on diazepam, I have been on Bedrenol, which I still have a couple of old capsules here for. I was on citalopram, I believe, for a while. In the past, the cocktail has never been right. I have had side effects, I have had increased anxiety, I have felt worse. At my worst, when I was poorly medicated, I couldn't get out of bed. It was a hard and horrible time. I had problems thinking a day in advance. I had problems functioning. I couldn't function. I couldn't think. I was in a dream state for most of the day, and it was horrible. I made the mistake of going cold turkey to come off it, and I wanted to see if I could handle it. Basically, I took my drugs because of medication, because of uni, because of stress, and I thought, I've graduated, I'm never going to need to take another medication pill again. I was wrong. And that was even harder to admit. I had to come to the realization in myself that I will never be probably off medication because of how my anxiety works and because of what causes me problems. My mood swings need to be controlled. And about 4 months ago, I tried a new cocktail, which was sertraline, 50 milligrams, and propranolol, 40 milligrams. The sertraline is for daily consumption for me, and the propranolol is 1 a day for panic attacks. Now, I have taken multiples of them before, my propranolol. I would never take multiples of my sertraline, and I noticed that if you excess your dosage, it does have side effects. 1 will calm me down. 2 will flatline me. 3, I can't function. I can't be a functional, decent member of society. and it's knowing these limits. It's about knowing what your body needs to take. Be wary and be smart of what you're consuming, because I can tell you, ever since I've been on them 2 medications, my life has improved so much. I can't even begin to tell you. My highs and lows are not as drastic, which is so good for me. I can actually have functional relationships. I am on an even kill. I'm not tired from panic attacks all the time. I still have them, but it's nowhere like it used to be. And that's amazing on its own. Knowing I also have a safety pill if I need it. My life has improved drastically by having the correct medication. And I can only say to you that if you are not feeling comfortable with your medication, don't give up on it. Don't think that because the medication isn't right for you, no medication will be, because that's like saying, I don't like this type of bread, no bread will ever be nice to me. There are always more options. Now, it was scary for me at first with the changes. For the first month or so, it was horrible. That was years ago. When I first started taking medication, I was a very different person. And for me to become someone different was the scariest thing. I was worried about losing who I was. But in actual fact, medication made me discover who I really was. I was able to slow down enough to actually think. At times, I feel dumber still because I take medication. My mind doesn't race as fast as it used to. There used to be times when I knew things, everything clicked. I do computer programming, and for someone like that, I was able to rapidly prototype. I was able to go, no, 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 and just shoot through. And then medication makes that not as possible, and the first thing you have to accept is this a good trade-off? And sometimes it's not. Sometimes you need that rapidness. I mean, during my dissertation, I advise it to no one, but I had to play around with my medication, and it caused me as many problems as it gave me benefits. I was able to work harder and obsessively work, but it screwed me up long term. And I'm fine now, but I wouldn't advise doing that. There are benefits, but they aren't. The disadvantages just don't add up to them. As for pricing, obviously I have 2 prescriptions. I am fortunate, I am in the UK. Now, if you are a younger viewer and you are watching this, or you are unemployed, if you are in the UK, you can qualify for the NHS's free prescriptions, so you have no reason not to try and go and see your doctor and saying that you need them. I was amazed that I could get my medication for free. I happily pay for it, but to know that there's that support there for you, even when you're going through a rough time, is great. So, I would also advise, obviously, if you're unsure, don't mix with other medication, don't do things if you're not ready to try, and never mix meds for the first time on a day when something's important. You may think that taking your pill because you have an exam from someone else is a great idea. It will make me focus, it will make things better, but in actual fact, there's a chance it may not go along well with what you take, and that could cause you a lot of long-term problems. I don't like to mix and match on important days. I think that you should know what you can take, but don't do it. I'm sorry, I have a person currently walking in who is walking away now. Thank you. I got a laundry basket. Anyway, so what am I trying to say here is there is medical support for you. Medication is scary, but it can help. And it's not the end of the world to say you need medication. I think the hardest thing some people need to admit is that long term, it's a solution. I personally found that hard, but you know what? I wouldn't change it now. I really wouldn't want to mess with my medication. Maybe in a few years I'll review it and I'll see if I need to change the dosage, but right now I'm pretty happy with it. So that's been my first video on the mental health series that I want to do. If you have any questions or would like to leave any comments, please feel free to leave them down below. Like and subscribe to the channel. If you like the video, it's a lot of help. If you have any topics you would like me to talk about, I'm very eager to discuss anything that you have. And I look forward to seeing you next time, people. So, I'm Luke, and this has been my show. See you next time.